watching this on the on the internet or so. Hi, sorry. Sorry, I'm not. We're not. I'm not used to StreamYard, so my patter is a bit all over the place. But hi to anyone watching this. You're watching a game that's arranged through the Gauntlet, which is a community on the internet gets together and plays tabletop role-playing games online. So check them out. Gauntlet-rpg.com is where you'll find them. Find the links down below. We are starting a series of Spire by Grant Howitt and Christopher Taylor, published by Rowan Rook and Deckard. They're industrial fantasy, surreal mage punk game of oppressed dark elf revolutionaries trying to destroy a corrupt society in this strange, magical, weird, surreal, horrifying city, also called Spire. Specifically, we are using the scenario Ironshrike by Benjamin Brock, which you can find on the Strata source book. And if all of those are swimming all over your head, don't worry, there'll be links down below if you're interested. So let's get to know like our players first before we get to the characters. Because I managed to play with everyone on this group at least once or twice. I don't know if everyone's played with everyone here, so let's all get to know each other first. Let's just start with player introduction. So hi, I'm Leandro. I'm the host, GM, whatever. You see him pronouns and kind of go by the other character keepers. So just like, just introduce yourself, pronouns and whatnot. Just yourself. We'll say character introductions for later. So we'll start with you, Gabriel.
Hi, I'm Gabriel. You see him pronouns. I run a lot of games for my home group, but I'm trying to introduce them to all these other cool games from D&D. So it's really exciting to get to try new things with you all. And really looking forward to Spire.
Cool. Thanks very much, Gabriel. Next, Darren. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. My name is Darren. That's true. I use he, him pronouns. That's it. I don't know. I feel like I've been around the gauntlet forever. Yeah.
Someone who's been around the gauntlet a lot, who's run a lot of Spire, but has not actually played Spire. So
yeah, finally, like a year later, my plot has paid off. Running Spire, I finally got someone else to run
it. It finally worked. Someone was fool enough to do this. Well, fool, no, it's a fun game. All right. Up next, Pavel, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Pavel. I'm broadcasting from Europe. I play a lot with Gauntlet, and yeah, I'm trying to manage my local community of players so that we also play some of the story games and not only some strat games over here.
I'm so envious y'all have a local community. I don't even have that. I just have you people. You great people. You wonderful people on the internet. And last but not least, included in that coterie of wonderful people, Kyle, introduce yourself, please.
I'm Kyle, he, him, been with the Gauntlet a few months now.
Cool. Played with Kyle yesterday. The dice were not in their favor. Hope they are today. So before we start, let's talk about like safety tools we're using. Just to remind folks of what we're using. First and foremost, we got lines and veils. Lines are things that won't be crossed. It just won't show up in the fiction. It's just, you put a line there, like we're not going to cross it. It's off the table. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, but we're not gonna linger on them, so to speak. Like we'll fast forward over them, or they just happen off screen, or they'll get a sentence or two. They can still happen, but we're not gonna concentrate on it. Like we're not gonna frame an entire scene around it. Oh no, we have lost someone. Hopefully Darren will come back. We are also using the X card, which basically means that if we do roll into a scene where folks feel uncomfortable for whatever reason, and any reason is fine. People say they want to use the X card, which say they may make the X on the screen or on the chat, or I don't know if I'm reversed or not. But yeah, the chat, which is either or. I got a 50-50 chance. You can say you want to X on the chat. Hey again, Darren. Or on the roll for a party. There's a button for the X card there. I might ask some questions on what's being X carded, like what the details are, but no one gets to question if it's played. If it's played, happens, and we'll roll back and try something else. And finally, we have an open door policy. So folks need to step away from the table because, for whatever reason, if there's an emergency you need to take care of, like, I don't know, your chair caught on fire for whatever reason, and only you can take care of that because everyone else in your house has, fire phobia of some sort, or more likely a spider is going to come in and no one can deal with it but you, or you need to step away from the table because you're more tired than you thought. It happens, or you need to take a break at any point, for 5 minutes you need to take care of something, like say you drank half your coffee before the game was even started and you really need to take care of that in 5 minutes. We'll pause the game and people can do it at any time. So that's what the open door policy means. All right. I mean, why would you want to sit in the flaming chair anyway? All right, so we've all made characters. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna meet those characters and we're gonna finish our PC bonds. And then we're just going to jump into Ironshrike. So, yeah, let's go by the same order we did in the character keeper. Gabriel, why don't you introduce us to... Ooh, sorry, that's the coffee messing with my internals. Gabriel, introduce us to our midwife here.
All right, so I'll be playing Varda, a midwife. Whose durance, so the midwives being sort of the keepers of the unborn drow and the protectors. Her durance was a personal assistant, and I'm not entirely sure what that would mean, but I was thinking maybe because of her skills, sort of like a guard and maybe a medic, kind of like a family doctor if she needed to patch someone up. I guess bonds, there's 2 other members of the Order of Midwives that she's a part of. One who does not know that she's for the ministry, and one who does. And then I have, I guess if we come back to it, but a player bond, someone whose life I save when no one else would. So if anyone thinks that might be them, let me know what you think.
Cool. We'll save player bonds for later. For now, let's get a snapshot of each character, and then we'll make our bonds and we'll get to know them better. But yeah, up next, Darren, tell us about her Blood Witch. Know them well. Tell us about our Blood Witch, Darren.
Yeah, I thought that was appropriate. I should be a Blood Witch in your game. This is Saris DeVere. I think we're going with, instead of not DeVire, but DeVere. Saris, I think, probably had a pretty average growing up, and then for her durance was recruited into some noble house where she was kind of trained and groomed to be a spy. So probably infiltrating, or not really infiltrating, but probably more of a social position where getting to know other houses and then doing espionage things, stealing information, and setting up social situations and manipulating people, all those kind of fun things. And then after her durance, although I imagine somehow it's involved with her durance, somehow got this blood disease from the heart and became a blood witch. No big deal. Just carrying around a violently reality shifting blood disease, as you do. I think that for the most part, I don't know, maybe it can just be up to you. I don't mind for your own characters, but otherwise I don't think people know that Saris is a blood witch just because of the status of that in Spire. So that's definitely not something she talks about or kind of does too openly. But alas, she is. And then I think probably who knows why the ministry would have recruited Saris, but I think Saris thinks that they did it for her skills that she learned being a spy for the Alfear. That's it. She's got a very lovely raven companion who just happens to have scales instead of feathers. So that's around.
Oh, sure. I don't want to draw attention to my blood witchiness. I'll just have a scaly raven.
There's weird stuff. I'm sure the people of Spire have seen weirder.
That's very true. All right, so that's our Blood Witch. Pablo, tell us about our ink writer, Inksmith, our pulp action hero.
Yes, so I'll be playing Nirvik Evrek, who is an ink writer, and he thinks of himself like he's the hero in some of the comics he's drawing. So he is prone to narrate the heroic actions that needs to be taken or describe them, or start drawing the comics in the midst of the action, because man, it would be so cool to draw it. He skipped his durance because he left his family and he tried to tough it out in the Red Row. He ran with what was the name of his character? He ran with Brother Hillion from the Church of the Gun. He was an enforcer for Brother Hillion, and that's how he survived not doing his durance, so he was doing crime in this time. But he decided that he had enough. Maybe they won't come for him after this couple of years, 5 or 10 years of doing crime, and that there must be some good done. He knew the mob, so he started drawing comics about the mobs and mob life and how to. Yeah, I think it's like his comics are meant to inspire people rather than just be obviously against Elfir, because otherwise they will be banned or something. But he really thinks he's being followed by those men with a gun who appear out of nowhere when he doesn't really need them, but it would be fun if they come up and start shooting people. So he thinks he's afraid he's being followed by them. And yeah, he's kind of like a pulpy character, but hopefully we will also see him as some dramatic character over here. And what else? He has 2 bonds. One is to Anvora, who is an enforcer to Brother Hillion from the Church of the Gun, and she was given the criminal domain, as from the rules book. And maybe we'll see it. I noted that both of them are in complicated. It's complicated relationship. So we will see what will come out of it. And his other bond is to Tigir, who is a trader in the Undercity. I think as a trader, he might be from Commerce Domain. He might have Commerce Domain. And he's probably my source of information about this region. I think he really joined the ministry because he thinks he really thinks it's right for the Dark Elves to win their freedom from the Elfir.
Cool. I hope. Seems like an optimistic chap. I wouldn't want to ruin his dreams. All right, and last but not the least, Kyle, tell us about our. Oh man, it's always fun to have a knight around. Tell us about our knight.
Yes, I'm playing Jaws, her. Her durance was she was an enlisted soldier, and after she got out of the military, she joined a knighthood, which in Spire are basically gangs with delusions of grandeur. But she's technically legally permitted to carry around big swords, so she does.
What more do you need to know? Actually, tell us about who do you have a bond with?
Yes, I have a bond with my squire, Lydia. Also, her. She's an idealist.
Mm.
And I also have a PC bond. You and them used to go drinking and still do on occasion. Describe the wildest thing you two got up to on one of your legendary nights out.
All right. You know what? Yeah, that segue. You said a segue to PC bond. So, Jaws, you just set out yours. Anyone interested in having a drinking partner with a knight?
I think it might make sense for the reporter. I mean,
For ink writer.
yeah.
I think very much because I wanted to ask you to be my bond, because my bond is that I published story where you were the main character, and I'm not sure if you're happy with this. But yeah, I think we can totally go out and be drinking on occasion. That's totally fine.
So, what's the wildest thing you two got up to on one of your legendary nights out?
A Knight and the Ink Writer. I think we. Although I'm thinking how would we do it, because I think maybe we. I wanted to say about that we somehow offended the elf here by maybe like drawing something about nasty about the elf here on like a table in one of the clubs, and then the club was closed because of this like inappropriate painting of offending elf here. But it might have been also something else. Like, what are you thinking, Kyle?
That works for me.
Ooh, is this portrait of this elf here? Is it anyone probably in the city?
It must be like there is nothing like we don't go outside, so it must be in the city. Probably in like I have no idea where would it be because you are kind of connected to the docks. I'm not sure if this is a district in the docks.
Let's see. You got your North Docks. Oh, I put a tab for a map of Spire. There. Oh. Just so people know where's what. I mean, we are gonna be kind of lurking around the lower circle, but there are some folks in the people who might have interest in Ironshrike in the higher circles. Yeah, so it could be in the docks. Maybe just hung out there for like. They say these legendary nights out are legendary because they happen once in a blue moon, that sort of thing. And I can see we'll come back to whoever this. Well, I was gonna say poor Elfir Lord, but they're not poor. This person you insulted. We'll come back to that. All right, let's jump around to Varda, your bond that you mentioned earlier. Do you mind saying that again?
I saved the life of someone when no one else would. For some reason, they were ostracized from their community. I'm thinking, especially with the other two being bonded, it would make a lot of sense to be bonded with the Blood Witch because we're both very into the occult. If you're into that, Darren.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And I don't know if you have any ideas of what you did to ostracize, or unless I'm supposed to say what you did to ostracize yourself from your community. What got you?
They wrote it like you determine everything, like some PBT games, but okay. I'm fine with that. If you have an idea, I think.
Maybe you were, getting your nose into something that you were told not to. Maybe you were doing some spying on your own and got yourself into some trouble, I guess. Unless you have anything else.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Maybe
or it could be some witchy ritual stuff. I don't know. Maybe I found you kind of like bleeding out and like, let me patch you up here. I don't know.
Yeah, both of those are good. Both of them are very ostracizing from the community because blood witchery is not great, but also spying on your own people is not great.
What if you combine the two? Maybe people found out you were spying over them, and people thought it was for some blood witch ritual. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, what if it's something like yeah, maybe because I think I got this like blood disease right before my endurance ended or something like that. So maybe there's just like a lot of confusion where some people found out I was a blood witch and they thought it was for like the high elf that I was serving, and it's just like one of those situations where both are bad and I can't, like, no one's listening for me to explain it.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe it's something like that where you stood up for me in the community and kind of like repaired that reputation.
That's cool.
Cool. All
Me
right.
too.
Well, that's okay. All right. Cool. Okay, so Varda has a bond with Cerise. Let's jump to Nervik, your PC bond. I mean, we already established who it's going to be, but let's flesh that out a bit. So what's your PC bond with?
Unless someone else wants. My bond is you have a bond with a fellow PC who you wrote and published a story about. What did it say? And are they really happy with it? So I think that both Yoz and Varda actually qualify because I think a story about a midwife. Like a question: how much of a spider is your midwife?
Right now, not much. Not much visibly, anyway. I have the potential to develop more of those characteristics, but I'm thinking right now, if I have extra arms or anything, it's probably just under a robe.
Okay, I think both. Yoz and Varda are a really cool character. Are really inspiring to appear in like a storyboard of Nervik. So whoever wants to be this character, which one of you feels more like this?
I mean, I'm happy to be, but I do feel like my character is probably tending to be a bit more behind the scenes, unless it was an angle of sort of how heroic the midwives are because they are protecting the future of the drow or something like that. Kind of like celebrating doctors and nurses, maybe. But unless you got anyone else wants to do it.
That's yeah. Let's yeah. Let's go with this one. Otherwise, we would be like Team Nervik and Team Yoz. So yeah, I wrote a story about Varda in which I probably I doubt it was our earlier mission. I think it was something like totally invented to show midwives as in some heroic action, saving the drow infants from the Elfir oppressors wanting to burn them or something, and you were the hero of the story.
That's cool.
Hero midwives. That's great. All right. Last, Cerise. Your bond. Jeez, I just read that. Oh God.
I think that actually, maybe let me take a beat and ask: is everyone okay with like the amount of blood that the Blood Witch brings into the game? Because it's often quite like on screen like this, where like I'm tasting blood and things like that. Okay, I forgot to like ask way ahead of time, but never too late. Okay, so I think if you're all right with it, Kyle, I would love to have tasted Jaws's blood. Because I think that there's some interesting things in an enlisted person's past in this setting.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So what did I learn?
How about Jaws killed her Aelfil officer at one point and like blamed it on the enemy?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good blackmail. Okay, I like that a lot. I feel like I probably don't remind you of that a lot just because like I think I'm into that overall, but maybe I do use it to be like get you to do stuff or something like that, or I try to like leverage it sometimes. So like very occasionally, rarely, I might remind you of it. That's pretty good.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. I think that tells me a lot about what we're dealing with. Okay. So that's kind of pretty much it for character setup stuff. I asked you all a question. But the thing is, we're near the top of the hour. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna take take a good. Because I always like to take a bit of a break before character setup stuff, and then into the actual game. Have that nice separation. So let's take. Okay, well, folks, take 10 because I do need to just sort out some stuff, throw some tables. Just quick 10, and then we'll come back, and then yeah, let's see these characters and see how they try and murder a market. So we'll be back in 10.
Darren, so as I understand, you GM this system quite a bit.
Yeah, it's probably what I've jammed the most on Gauntlet.
So what do you like about it?
Oh, I just like the simplicity and having skills and domains and then building that dice pool. It's like very simple, very quick, and you can get to the roll like pretty easily because it's just the GM calling for a skill plus domain, and then you either have the skill and or domain or you don't. So you don't have to worry about like trying to figure it out. But then what I don't like is kind of how the stress system works, because like no matter what, it always bogs down at that point and it just gets so slow. So I don't know. I mean, I like the idea of stress and like Fallout, but inevitably every single time it's been super slow when we've done like a roll resolution. So that's my mechanical complaint. What I like and what I don't like.
Okay, I'm really curious about this, how the stress works, because it seems to be divided into few categories and could be really interesting. However, I'm curious how this will play out. I need to grab a spoon. I'll be right back.
I did the heart play test a little while ago, which is cool. I haven't played Spire yet.
Yeah, there's definitely some changes that they did to the stress system and heart that I really really like.
Escalated really fast. I don't. Is it more forgiving in Spire? Like it's not based on all of your stress, or is it pretty much the same?
It is based on all of your stress. There's an alternative that the book suggests if you do want it to be a little less severe, where you can track each stress independently and you're not totaling it for like for your roll against Fallout. But no, it can happen pretty quickly. I had one like at the very beginning of the game. Somebody rolled like a D8 for stress and they like got an 8, and then I did the Fallout roll and they got like Fallout, and then at an 8 it's major Fallout. So like right at the beginning of the game they were like arrested.
It's a great start.
But the nice thing about it though, it didn't feel out of context. It felt proportional for what the player tried to do. So it worked out. But sometimes there's no steady climb. Sometimes you're just dead.
But I feel like why do I feel like I was there?
You were. Yeah, like the very first session. Blood and Dust.
Oh yeah, that was.
Yeah, that was when Fraser was like, "I'm gonna rat them out in the newspapers," and I had to be like, "Well, the High Elves own the newspapers, and they don't like you talking shit about them. So
of course
you're in prison."
All right. Okay. Where's my? I'm just looking at what page am I in? All right. Okay. Cool. Everyone's back. Everyone's doing well. I'll try to do a check-in at the start of every hour. Seems everyone's fine. Cool. So, well, I've not mentioned on screen yet actually what these players are here for. I think, but for anyone watching this. I don't know. There could be people watching this. I don't know. I would like to presume someone would watch this. Are, for lack of a better term, heroes have been brought together and given a simple task. Deep in Derelictus, below and behind Threadneedle Square, past the dangers of Red Row, close to the rotting heart of Spire itself, well, there's Ironshrike. It's the last market before you hit rock bottom. This is where the desperate and the doomed gonna sell what they want, what they have, anything they have for enough silver left to survive. Hundreds struggling against each other, hauling themselves up on the backs of others. Lots sorts of pointless stuff, weird stuff, random stuff, stolen stuff, fence stuff. It's all a smokescreen for more bigger stuff. It's a ceaseless struggle, and the Drow aren't benefiting from it. As the market here destroys all pride, all solidarity, all grace. And of course, it's the Elfir up Spire that benefits. And certain people close to the market that feed off the commerce and the chaos there. So Ministries tasked the four of you to do a simple thing, simple, easy. You just gotta kill a market, murder it even. How do you do that? Well, that's what I want to know. So as kind of like, I want to like each like before we get to the market itself, let's have like a quick snapshot of like each player and each character and like their normal day to day, like what are they up to, and then I ask the question I kind of asked before broadcast, which is like when they're given this task, murdering a market. What's their plan to do so? Like what's the first thing they do? What's the avenue they think they're gonna do it with? So it's just like okay, everyone has an idea of what we kind of see when the camera cuts to them, like just what their day to day is like before they go to Ironshrike. Anyone just jump in once they have an idea.
I think that Ceres' normal day to day, working as a blood witch. I mean, I think actually that Ceres, I think Ceres leaving her durance, and also that little hiccup with the community, probably like where she grew up and everything. I think that she maybe like lives in Derelictus or Red Road, definitely away from like High Elf Eyes, where she can be a little bit more like rebellious in a way. That's not quite the right word, but where she like doesn't have to worry about like putting up with High Elf stuff as much. And I lost. Oh, so what she's doing is Blood Witch. So I'm picturing she kind of maybe works as like a kind of doctor, maybe like I can't think of like any words right now. She does like she gets called in for like the weird stuff, like exorcisms or strange diseases. Of course, and like home visits and more of like sliding scale type of stuff. I see her as like a doctor who does like probably exclusively home visits. So that's that's the blood witchery for Ceres. And I think that her like normal day to day is probably like preparing medicines that all involve some smatterings of blood, probably like ritualistically sacrificing certain creatures, and making the rounds, picking up her daily bread and other goods and things. And then maybe like as if the camera's like panning around following her, maybe it like zooms in on her making a home visit and like applying a salve, spitting on a wound or something, doing weird suggestively doctory things.
So, what's her plan to murder this market?
Oh yeah, that's right. The second part of
What's her idea?
I think at first Ceres would have thought about like more medicalized treatments, right? To keep it very like in that character note. Something maybe ideas about like cauterizing the market and then like setting literal fires to the space that Ironshrike occupies. But then I think Ceres remembers like her life as a spy and why she's working with the ministry. And I think that there's like some high society hobnobbing that could happen where maybe we like buy out the market or something and like shut it down that way, something like that.
Well, that's an avenue to think about. All right. Anyone else? Like,
So I think we crossfade to a comic being drawn as we see it. We see some protagonist chasing down the villains in the alley, and then just as they are about to catch the villains, we cut out to the reality where some editor comes and drops some papers on Nirvik's desk and says, "Nirvik, there's some stuff. There was like a big brawl in the red row, like 50 humans wounded and 10 elves dead. Just like go and make yourself useful. And we see him like take like a good old fedora hat, put it over his ears, and we see like there are little holes for his long ears. And he says, "I got it, boss." He puts on his battered cloak, and he leaves the very small office with just like and where we see like the press in the background, like working, just like printing something. And Nirvik idea is not to actually kill the market. His idea is to like set whoever is like causing problems over there to like infight with everyone else who is causing problem over there, and then just like suggest a deal that cannot be refused to the last mobster that they need to like change their way or be more humane. Just like bring some priest of our beloved. What was her name? Our beloved lady.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, and just like actually start helping those people, put them into work, even if this work would be like really bad, but instead of just like them rotting there. But yeah, first take the mob out by having the mob fight the other mob.
An altruist. Gotta love them in Spire. All right. What about our knight or our midwife?
I'm thinking for Varda for the midwife. I was just peeking in the book actually at the midwife section and seeing how at the bottom, the Undercity, she might actually kind of have set up her own lair where she's working alone. So protecting, maybe there's some unborn drow there, and she's just keeping an eye on them and has actual spiders kind of helping with just keeping, protecting them, keeping things clean. But with her sort of cult magic and that angle on things, I think might be very interested in the gutterkin, the weird kind of mix of I don't know, the book kind of describes them like goblins and like rat people and just the very bottom tiers of society. And maybe is trying to use her skills to in some ways try to fix them or heal them a little bit and maybe mobilize some of those people at the very bottom, and see if they can kind of disrupt the market, the status quo. So that's kind of day to day on a street level, kind of similar to the Blood Witch, but a little more secretive, kind of maybe going out on her errands. And if she sees one of these weird people on the street that needs kind of some patching up, might kind of stitch them up a little bit, or maybe if there's orphans, maybe just kind of keeping an eye out for the people at the very bottom of society here. That's what I'm thinking so far.
Oh, we have another altruist. There we go. All right. The odds are the odds. And for Jaws? Oh, go ahead.
So we cut to Jaws, who's in a back alley fight right now. Just with some other people from her order, the Thirsty Maiden, her knightly order, killing some people in a back alley. Not really relevant who or why. And when she gets a message, she thinks of it as the market it's a money thing for the people in charge. So just kill the market by just making it utterly unprofitable, probably by killing a bunch of people and scaring a bunch of other people.
All right. Okay. I think this group is balanced out now. I mean, people go for like, party balance. Like, oh, we gotta need attack, DPS, whatnot. No, we need the altruists and the non-altruists for sure. Well, actually, no. 3 out of 4 people are like, okay, wait, no, that's still balanced. Like 2 people want to like do diplomacy. The other people want to do violence. One of them wants to do violence, then diplomacy. So there we go. There's a combination. Okay.
I did think of one more thing, or I guess to add on to what I'm doing. Those unborn, those drow, they're raised with blood. They do need to be fed. And maybe if there's some of the wrong people that are getting killed, I can kind of serve as some disposal for that part of the picture. So maybe we're literally kind of feeding some of the wealthy to the future generation.
Oh my god. All right. So we've gotten into the minds of our characters, what they're planning. Let's cut to let's go to Ironshrike itself. Let's meet this place. Now, Ironshrike is deep below Spire. You are basically on the footsteps of going into the heart and whatnot. You're just right there. It's like just take the alley left of the tavern known as Civilization. Just follow that and you'll end up in just a warren. It's a series of alleyways, tiny plazas. It's like it's cramped. It's like it's a weird mix of like just streets and alleyways, and it's noisy. Do the four of you meet up at the same place? You can meet up at the at the before you enter in. Like, I don't have to say you have to meet up at the tavern, but you can meet at the front of the tavern. Or if you want, you can meet up inside Ironshrike itself. Because right now, I think this visit, it's going to be just a visit, just like get the lay of the land. If folks, are looking for like, okay, who are the elf here you need to hobnob with to talk about, or who do you...
Maybe we can like meet at the Civilization tavern and just exchange some ideas of what we need to learn, and maybe I don't know, divide into the teams of two, something like this, and then go to the Ironshrike.
Cool. So y'all meet at a tavern. Classic. Civilization's nice. It's one of the nicer places in Spire, especially down here in Derelictus. It's less of a cavern than most places. The most interesting thing about Civilization is that it is run by an Alfir, an unmasked Alfir as well. His name is Lith. He's a very good storyteller. In fact, like there's almost like a poet's corner at the corner of the tavern when y'all like walk in and probably get served drinks by some surly bartender, but there's a declamation going on in the corner, and you can hear a strand of a story of the secret language of the corpse worms passed on to the ghouls of Grist, the cannibals of Grist. And Lith is telling a story about how he once had a whirlwind romance with one of the cannibals of Grist, but he didn't know at the time because he was just so charming, and he was one who, unlike other cannibals, actually brushed his teeth, and he did not know until a night of what's passion meant to be, but. You'll be very anyway. I'm not gonna be called up at a chat. I'm not gonna let that happen. So yeah, you all met at this tavern, and you can hear that story going on. And actually, I think when you get there's already like a table prepared for the four of you, and I think you all the message from the ministry came with the code. Just like this specific table. This is where you meet, and this is where this is just where you meet. And
good evening, ladies. I missed you since the last meeting we had.
Was this your idea, Nervik? This seems like your kind of place. As I'm disdainfully listening to this awful poetry.
I mean, this is just a honey to my heart. His stories are breathtaking and amazing. I should really write them down and publish them one day.
It'd be better than hearing them.
If you don't mind, I'm impressed with the story you have written, but I don't want to become too well known. So maybe your next story could just be about someone else for now. Impressive as they are.
Varda, you're doing very important job for the survival of our race. But I will make sure to keep your profession on the low side, so that the Elfir will never know. No worries.
A waitress comes and brings you all a drink, but none of you have ordered. It's 4 equal servings of spruce beer.
Who's paying for this?
Thank you. Lith knows what I like, so I think he assumes that you also are drinking the same as I do. So let's cut to business, as the other patrons are currently occupied. So what is our plan? I suppose we should head down to the Ironshrike and just learn who's who, and then we can formulate some plan once we know what are we up against.
Yeah, I mean, Leandro, what do we know just about Ironshrike? Is it just that blurb that anything and everything is sold there, can be bought there, and generally has a bad reputation for dark elves?
Yeah, I think that's the general gist of it. When you go in there, you'll meet people for sure, but it is going to be it's a bit of a cacophony in that place. You'll know that Ironshrike is there's some Elfir there. You've heard whispers of a cult working in there. That the Azurites and the Carrion priests don't like this place because it's a kind of a perversion of some of their beliefs. That there are Alfir who work there, but you barely see any Alfir there. A lot of stolen goods are fenced there. Guns are sold there, that sort of thing. But I think any of the 4 plans you came up are quite feasible. And I'll say that straight up. They're all quite feasible.
I think as Sarah's back to character, I want to go after this cult. So I've heard rumors about this cult. I would like to, if we're gonna be in the market, then I'd like to get a connection there and see what they can do for us.
A cult in the market, yes, that will make a perfect story.
I'll see. I don't know how our night is feeling. I want to ask, this is a very frivolous question, but Jaws, as someone who's frequented bars, what's your opinion on this bar?
It's not the worst place she's ever been to.
Ooh, just on the edge of mediocre.
What about the poetry, though?
It's not the worst she's ever heard.
So stoic. What a pub crawler. All right. So Ceres has a plan anyway. There's a cult. It seems like it's gonna be you're gonna go up in pairs, or do people have their own agendas? I just want to know what the.
I'm happy to tag along with looking into the cult. I think I want to kind of see who's literally pulling the strings and all that, and just how people might be connected down here.
And what does Jaws want?
I guess Jaws will tag along with whoever seems to be doing the most dangerous work.
I saw you're unmuting and muting there, Pablo. You've got thoughts.
Well, it depends. Going to the market and asking who is the important mob boss seems dangerous, but then Ceres is infiltrating a cult, so it's a hard pick. But wherever Nirvik goes, their trouble just follows. So
I guess I'll tag along with Nirvik.
Nice. Okay, so you. Oh, go ahead, Sarah. So you're on mute there.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was just gonna bring in my whisper ability and try to pitch that for people. So if we're splitting up, we can get some charcoal on our throats and be able to talk without being near each other. But I think like as we're like walking out of the end to do this, I'll probably like try to pull you all into the alleyway or something, right? So we're not doing this out in public, and just pitch you on it. Like I know the methods from the ministry to make sure we stay in touch. So even if we're splitting up, we can do this. I'm like pulling out like I think a little bag with like a lighter and a piece of charcoal, right? So I can get that smudge to do it. Are we up for it? Do you want to do mechanical stuff?
Yeah, mechanically, this will let you talk to each other even when you're not next to each other for the next day.
Yeah. So if we're all doing it, I think I just do 4 stress for all of us.
It's up to you whether you want to hear Nirvik narrating whatever is happening the whole day, or maybe you just want Yo to be marked from that pair. It's really up to you.
That's hilarious.
Nirvik, I forget how running operations is like with you. So just the 3 of us then.
I never get to do this. Like, come on, I'm not. It was this one time I was telling this story. I forgot you were listening on me telling this story to this prostitute.
Just tell it to Jaws if you have anything important.
Okay,
Anything important.
I get it. Yeah, sure, no problem.
All right, I'll mark 3 mind stress.
Cool.
And then, yeah, we can talk to each other. Where's my stress? Oh, yeah. Sorry, Leandro. Yeah, do you want us to do anything with stress and fallout, or are you going to handle it all?
I'll handle that. Well, basically, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna make you roll the die for how much stress you're getting, and then I'll take care of fallout.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna roll a physical die. I know I got to do that. I don't have a local community. Should find some people. Anyway, all right. Enough about my foibles. So yeah, before we enter Ironshrike, and it is as advertised. It's the first thing that hit you is it's noisy. It's sun's in my eye. It's a cacophony. Even though like you can barely see like just in front of you. Like you walk into the alley and you're just like, oh, you're in an alley full of stalls and just people just yelling about stuff. And to your left, you can see like just let me see. There's this huge canal fish that's just being sold by the piece. It's like, it's as big as a boat, and there's like a gaggle of hooded figures. We're like, give us the fish. To your left, that sort of thing. And there's like lots of shiny baubles just being sold. There's like there's a lot of noise. If you keep walking down the alleys again, you can't stretch your arm without hitting like 3 stall holders. And there's so many different kinds of stalls. Like, you get your typical like lemon drink stands, those sort of things. You get weird stalls. Like there's just this guy who's just made a salt circle around him, and he's selling a pile of clothes inside his salt circle. He's wearing clothes, but he just has a salt circle, and he's got a cane, and he's got a big bushy beard. So just weird stuff like that. It's practical. It's so much mess. Like you see Gutterkin wandering around every now and then, and you see just a lot of stuff. I think there is a noise that kind of like reverberates when you walk in above all the shouting. You hear gunshots. Somewhere like to your right, just gunshots happening. Actually, that's a question for Jaws. Is your apprentice coming with you? Your squire?
No, I think I left her at home for this one.
Did you have a reason? What did you tell her? You said you weren't taking her to the market.
Just that this one was likely to get messy.
And she's like, doesn't it always get messy?
Messy by my standards.
But your standards are so high.
Yes.
But don't I get to see that it's, I mean, how would I know right from wrong if I don't like get to see when it gets really wrong? Not to say that it always gets wrong near you, but
well, we'll talk this all out after I get back.
as you wish. And yeah, so gunshots, noise, people selling stuff. But if you try to just look around, you probably, if you're looking to buy stuff or just to find specific people, you can find them, or even just the types of people, like, you know, mobsters and whatnot. Ooh, actually, I'm gonna roll on this table. Oh, lovely. What you'll notice, I think, especially for you, Sarah, since you thought this out, you don't see much Alfear. Like, you really don't. It is mostly drow. You maybe see some humans, so to speak, but it is mostly just like, yeah, a lot of like drow, and sometimes you get the funny stuff like the salt circles and whatnot. But you see like people just like with gigantic backpacks holding a lot of stuff, just like hunched over, like, you know, selling pots. Some people selling cutlery. Some people selling like meat that they, you know, that's clearly like, you know, they bought 2 days ago. That sort of thing. It's a mess in this place. So let's come to each of our duos. Let's go to Cerise and to Varda first.
I have one thought, Ceres, and we have this in common, but maybe we should start by asking where we can get blood, and just see what's for sale and who's selling it. I have a pretty good reason for my work that I can innocently ask for blood to, you know, feed the unborn children and all of that.
I usually have to lead with the medicinal side, because unless you're a midwife, people usually don't like when you ask about blood. But I think you're right. I think probably the stranger we sort of angle for, the closer we'll get to a cult.
I think if we ask for the good stuff, whatever's unusual or special, maybe there's some vintage. We'll just ask someone for what the special stuff is and see where that takes us.
I wonder too if the cult is religious or not. Seems like every week there's a new god in Spire. You get something related to that too. But I'm into it. I'm into that plan. And also, I want to. I should name my little raven. I just can't think of a good name. But my raven's there, of course. I maybe just like was circling before, but now it's on my shoulder. But Leandro, I want to like send it off. I'm gonna ask it to do something. I just want it to go and like circle above this like warren of Ironshrike and like spot something weird, right? Maybe help us get an angle on where to ask for the good stuff, you know?
And just for maybe not this situation, but I do have an ability where I can see everything in my surroundings. If we know more what we're looking for, maybe I can use that.
Okay. All right. So you have a bond with your raven, so that is just gonna be a bond. So I'll just put like a that's just one stress. That seems
doable for a raven.
Yeah, it's very doable for a raven. All right. So we got man, you already stack up on stress. What's up with that, Cerise? Okay, so we have a frame for what you're gonna do. Now I want to know what the other duo is doing, and keep in mind, at the very least, everyone can hear what Jaws is saying. But yeah, what's the plan of action for the other two? Like, it doesn't have to be a specific plan, but like, where do you want to go? Again, if you want more color in what's happening, again, Gutterkin running around, gunshots in the air. Well, you heard them 5 minutes ago.
I think that's how Nirvik starts. He just goes into the new neighborhood and just like walks around, observing, listening to conversations, listening to people mugging other people, and just like saying who they work for. He wants to like grab some basic names so that then he can start blaming working for those people. So yeah, and obviously trying not to draw too much attention. So we probably like see him in the hat, in the cloak, just like listening on the corner to some conversations, and then going somewhere else to just observe people being mocked. Yeah.
I think, this could be this is a roll. This is definitely a roll. Let's get our first roll done. Roll for a party. There's a link above each character. The last time I made a character sheet, you saw that, Kyle. It was just one big banner. It just looked bad, but here, there's the links up there. But I'll link it here in the chat. The annoying thing with StreamYard is that it doesn't hyperlink. So, that's. But I'll have to consider that next time to use this. But yeah, roll for a party. So I'm gonna do a roll. Start with a D10 for luck. We're gonna make a dice pool. So we start with 1 and see if you have the relevant skill or domain. This is an investigate for sure. You're getting your ear out. You definitely have that. Your good old gumshoe. And this is definitely low society. This is what as low as society can go. In fact, it's so low, if you go to the heart, it doesn't count as low society because that's the heart. It's just weird. But yeah, no, this is definitely low society. Yeah, so that's a 3d10.
Oh, it's a fail. That would be a good start.
Oh, yeah, it's a failure. So first, okay, so you're gonna take some stress, and I think what this is gonna be is you're keeping your ear out. You're listening to stuff, but the thing is, you're out there in your coat and your fedora with the convenient holes for your ears, next to a big fuck off knight, very obvious sword. You kind of really stand out. um, I mean, you wouldn't have stand out any less if you went with the blood witch with the scaly raven, or the midwife with the big cloak hiding the arms, I guess. So I think, okay, here's kind of what's gonna happen. You listen around, and you're walking around, just Paloma. Okay, you're walking around, you in the night, and I think what happens is you pass by an alleyway, and I think Jaws, you're really looking at something, and you see that suddenly Nirvik is nowhere near. It suddenly disappeared from your view, and because what happened in Nirvik is that a hand just kind of comes from the alley and grabs you and smacks you against the wall, and a gun is pointed at your chin, and you look into the face of like a. Well, I need to be very sure. Put this in my notes. Nope, not that. You look at this drow. He has like bandages on his forehead. He has a lot of crow's feet. His face is kind of like cragged. He looks like a drow Clint Eastwood, I'd say, thereby ruining the magic of what I'm describing. And he's got a gun pointed at you, and you can smell that his fingers are like caked in cordite, and he growls at you, and he says, you were part of the church, right? You were part of Brother Hellion's crew. And he clicks the gun, and you're gonna take reputation stress because you're known in these parts. Roll me a d6.
A 1.
Hey, that's very good. And you have resistance of 1, so you have no stress. So what does it look like when he says this, like, you're part of Brother Hellion's crew, aren't you? And he cocks the gun.
Okay, so no fallout. I'm not responding to fallout. I'm just responding to this guy over here.
Yeah, there's no fallout because you don't have any stress.
Yeah. I think firstly, it's like we see Nirvik like just like take a look at the guy and the gun because he wants to know, like he probably knows something about the guns. Is this gun like lowest, poorest quality as possible, or is it actually, oiled, well-maintained gun? And is it just a thug, or is it someone's enforcer?
Ooh. You look at the gun. I think I'll give you this because the gun is right to your face.
Mhm.
It's very well maintained. In fact, it's maintained to a sort of quality that you've only ever known that Church of the Gun. Um, this guy doesn't look like he's in force of anyone, but he looks like someone who knows his way around a gun. But you can tell the way this gun is kind of like almost like been taken apart, put together. He would have only known this if he had been a member of that church.
Yeah. I look at him and I say, a member of the church always recognizes another member of the church. Mm-hmm.
I think he looks at you and like that's what. Are you saying you're still a member of the church? That's what I'm asking. Because if you and Brother Hellion are here, then I might have a word or two for the likes of you.
Yeah, I think Nivrik takes a bet on the chance, and he says, "If I'm here, it means Brother Hillion's business is coming with me."
Okay. This sounds like another roll. We'll roll this roll and then we'll cut to the other two as they look for blood, and then we'll cut to Jaws, whose buddy has left them. And you're the only one who didn't. No one knows this is happening. Right. All right. Let's do another roll. Okay. It sounds like you're trying to like. Does this sound like a deceive? Because you're lying. You're straight up lying to him. Are you?
Yes, I am. But maybe allow me to add something because it might be better for stakes. I look at him. And I say, the past members of the church should never go against the current members. However, I can still put a good word for you if you behave rationally and work with me on this case.
You very convincingly put it to compel, which you do have, unlike deceive, which you didn't. There we go.
Now the dice are a little bit clearer and funnier and better, so.
Yeah, no, it is. It's much better. All right. So I think he's got a gun to your face. He looks better beaten. I think this is going to be a difficulty of 1. So instead of 3, you're going to roll 2 d10.
Sure.
Yeah, Darren's making faces at me.
Wow, my dice are killing me. It's the highest is 2.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
At least it's not a critical failure. It's just a failure.
It's just a failure. Yeah. Okay. Let's come back to you in a moment. Let's come back to our blood-seeking duo. It's worst Netflix special I've heard about. All right. So you send away Paloma, cute name, to go looking for blood. He sells blood, and I think they come back and they like just tug at your sleeve, Saris. Unless I don't know, you're wearing a tank top. I don't know what you're wearing, but I assume you have a sleeve.
I think it's I think it's very roby because it's tattered and weird looking. So I think it's roby with some tears and cuts and some like strange human tech incorporated into it. That's it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so they tug on your raggedy robe, and the raven directs you to just direct you past a few stalls. You go past again the big canal fish and the hooded weirdos chanting for the fish. You pass by that. You pass by a a gigantic pot, and there's like it's filled with other pots. It's like it's a pot of pots. You pass by that, and then you come across like what looks like a fairly ordinary stall. Again, it's proper lemonade stand sort of stall, and and there's a sign on it, and it's just written kind of like and what looks like yeah, it looks like blood. The sign just says "Physiker Extraordinaire," and there's this drow who behind the stand, and behind them is like lots of like covered up canisters or so of varying shapes and sizes. And this drow is like they look they don't look like they should be old enough to be dealing with blood. Let's just say. They look like they've just out of their teens. Let's say they kind of like short black hair. They've got a kerchief on, and they look at you, the two of you, like kind of rather wide eyes, and they say, "Ah, your friend told me about your needs."
Who's our friend?
Your raven,
Oh,
maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. Paloma hops off from your shoulder on the on the stand, and they the shop proprietor pulls out like a pellet of blood, just like gives him a bit. Your friend's very nice. They vouch for you.
you know, they're very well trained. Interesting. I didn't think anyone else could talk to Paloma.
Well, it's a manner of talking, I suppose. And they refuse to elaborate on that.
Right.
Yes, my colleague here and I are in need of some supplies, and I don't know if I would have any sort of, I don't know, subtle insignia that I'm a midwife. I'm definitely concealing if I have any extra features, but I would just try to mention being one raising the young, the future generations can be tough when supplies are low, and we are in need of something a bit more rich, maybe something a bit more unusual. Uh, we're seeking out what the real the good stuff might be that is available. Do you have anything special behind the counter? That doesn't
They
look
look
very
at
impressive.
they look at you and say, "Subtlety's not your strong suit, is it?"
I have simple needs, and you offer a vial of blood. I think we know what we're talking about here.
I offer specific kinds of blood.
Hmm.
For instance, and they pull out a vial.
Hmm.
This was taken from a Knoll demonologist at their greatest moment of ecstasy, which is their summoning of their first demon. Inscribed in this blood is their joys, their fears, their sorrows, all in that one moment. Is there anything specific the two of you are looking for?
I think we're looking for a supplier more than just like a single dose.
If the two of you are looking suppliers, then they kind of look around. Then you will have to deal with those who let this market be. Or those who let this market be what it is. If you don't mind me asking, why exactly are you looking for them?
Well, as I said, supplies sometimes can be low and difficult to find. And for my ongoing work, I'm interested in new business partnerships for that reason.
I think I want to pull some like
Sure.
maybe.
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing.
Oh yeah, no. I think I want to pull some maybe like bad cop stuff, and if they look young, I'm gonna press on that. And say something like, you know how hard it is to survive down here, especially avoiding the gaze of the Elfir. Sometimes, you have to lean on each other to help avoid those long periods, like durances, things like that.
I think no. Yeah, Darren, you've run this before. Remind me, how does assisting work? Because this definitely sounds like Varda is trying to compel, and Ceres is assisting.
Yeah, so there's the only assistance rule is if you act in a way that benefits someone you share a bond with, then you may do so with mastery. So it's kind of backwards. Like if I were doing like a setup action, then I would get mastery. That's rules as written.
Yeah. I should reread those rules. All right. So let me double check. So it sounds like Varda, you're like trying to compel this.
Could I also just because it says once per situation, I'm curious if there's anything I pick up on that this person wants to protect above all else. I mean, unless it's obvious, but if I might have any insight.
Once per situation. That's particularly powerful. I think you can tell that much of the spooky ooky stuff this person is pulling it's a well-honed act for sure. Even the pretending to be friends with the raven, it's a bit of an act. I think you can clearly tell that they're young. This act is like for them to stand out, put people off, put them on the back foot, because this little stall, all these like canisters of blood, which could be what they're saying, could not be what they're saying. This is all they've got. This is like just this. And I think you can even tell just like because they're being so protective because of this act, even like maybe the stuff with the null stuff, you can tell it's honed. It's like they're reading from a script. And who knows if even the blood that they're selling is actually theirs. But you can tell they want to protect their position right now.
I would definitely try to use that and just say like, look, we know that you're running a business here. You want to survive like everyone else here, and you might find that in dealing with us, we can really spread the word and help your reputation. But looks like you're just still figuring things out, and I understand. But just tell us what we really are looking for. Show us where we need to go. We want a little more than what you're offering. No offense intended.
Okay, so this is a compel for sure. And I was just looking at the rules. There is like characters can assist if you have a relevant skill or domain. You can add a 1 to their dice pool. That is there. So yeah, let's go to you, Varda. Difficulty of 0. I think this person, I don't want to call them kid. They're over 19, mom. That sort of thing. So start with a D10. You definitely have compel. Got low society. Ooh. I don't know if you have the relevant skill to assist though, Sirius. So you're just playing bad cop. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, unless we can say. Oh wait, yeah, that's right. You said it's compel. Well, they already have compel too.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't even need my help.
Well, you brought them there with your raven friend. All right, so you got 3d10.
All right, so 8.
Cool. All right, so an 8, yeah, it's just a success. And I think there's a moment where their eyes kind of like widen just a bit more, but out of like reflex, just a bit out of fear, and they ask, they kind of make you lean forward just a bit more, being like, just lean forward a bit more so you can talk a bit more clandestinely. And just to remind Jaws, you can hear this, but poor Nirvik being beaten up at the alley. Not being beaten up, but like they're at the alley, won't hear this. And they say like, there's a lot of people here who, barely have something, barely have a toehold at this market. There's a lot of those who would love to have a toehold, but the market demands only so much. I say the market demands. No, some people just demand. Some. Can you really help?
Ultimately, I think we can.
I can trust you on that.
Of course, my duties are to the future of our people.
There is. And she looks around while I scroll down my notes. There's a supplier for all sorts of things, for different sorts of souls. And they usually supply exotic materials like this no blood, which she says is what it is. She's of Alfir. She never really comes down here. She works through like several different intermediaries, but she has. I'm not the only stallholder here who's beholden to her. If you go looking for like those selling, exotic materials or just unusual materials, like just experimental stuff, like new drugs, something like that. Most of the time, she'll have her hand on it, on that trade. I can't say much. You need to talk to someone who has less to lose. Talk to Milgrist. They're a gutterkin. You'll see that you'll see them easily enough. They're the longest serving gutterkin merchant in Ironshrike. Survive that long, like people are very curious how they've done that, but they told me that you work with Elfir long enough, they'll lend you enough rope to save yourself every now and then. But that's all I can say. That's really all. And they kind of send a glance around their tiny stall and their canisters of blood.
I think I will just I don't know, slightly keep them in check or a little creeped out. I will kind of just open my robe and one of my other two arms will come out and just reach over and pat them on the shoulder and then come back in. And thank you.
Okay. So yeah, I was gonna give you a bond with them, but
Well, fear is a bond, I guess. I don't know.
okay, all right. Well, look, they took a chance on you, on the two of you. So take a bond with this physiker. What's her name? The name is Melise. There we go. In case you need more, you need actual blood for actual rituals. Who knows?
Right.
Okay, so we reached the top of the hour. I swear we'll get to Jaws, but let's take another like quick break. Let's take 5. And then Jaws, you've been left alone. Nervix, nowhere to be seen. I'll come back to you after 5. Cool. Everyone's back. Welcome back. Just want to do a quick check-in. How are folks? Folks doing okay? That's fab to hear. All right. So let's get to Jaws, who, whilst hearing this somewhat tender, somewhat sinister conversation about blood and scarcity, yeah, Nervix disappeared. Jaws, you're now kind of you're walking down this like alleyway with a bunch of stalls left and right to you. Yeah, what do you do?
I look for him. I'm not sure what I roll to find him.
Yeah, let me double check what you got and what you can do. So just gonna try and find him. Let me double check something. Sorry about this. Okay. Yeah, this could be like a pursue. The thing is making it difficult is that this is a warren of a place. You pass by like 5 alleyways where he could have been snatched from. Yeah, I'd say this is a pursue. It's like, oh shit, find Nervik. I think if it's like you're doing this as soon as like he disappears, I'd say there's a difficulty of a 0. So there's still time to find him. So 1 for luck. You got pursue and low society. Huh. Coincidentally enough, everyone has low society. It's almost like they knew what they were gonna get into. That's 3d10.
I got an 8.
Hell yeah. Okay, cool. So that's just a success. So I think what yeah, no one try hobnobbing with Elfir. It won't work. And so I think what you hear is a gunshot right near you. And when you burst in, what you see is Nervik. What happened is you said like the church is coming for you. I think what he does is he'll kind of like hit you with the butt of his pistol, and you kind of fall down on your butt, and then he just shoots next to your head, on the wall next to you. And that's the kind of the tableau you come into, Jaws, as this guy is kind of like, well, tell the church to come with their muskets and their revolvers, or if they do, then I forgot this guy's name. Give me a second. Then I, Gasto, will answer in kind. If this market has to burn down between the two of us, yeah, you're gonna suffer reputation stress. Roll a d6. This is again to your badass look, to your reputation as a harsh fighter. Oh, all right, okay, that's it's not a stress there. Well, thankfully, like 3, yeah, 4. Oh yeah, 4. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna roll a d10. See if you suffer fallout. Wow, I rolled a 5. You got lucky with the stress days. So yeah, Jaws, that's where you come in. This guy Gasto is ranting about the church of the gun and whatnot, and a shot. Looks like a shot Nervik, although you can probably tell. He only got shot next to the wall next to him. What do you do, Jaws?
I tackle him.
There we go. Fair enough. All right, I think this is just I don't think there's any. I think we're not gonna make a roll. I think you're a big birdie knight. He's a bit distracted by his ranting, by his anger at Nervik, and I think you're gonna attack him to the ground, but obviously he's gonna struggle back, and he's gonna like try and like hit you with the butt of his pistol and whatnot, and I think you're just gonna have a big old tussle on the ground. What do you want to do now that you've kind of got him in your arms, but he's fighting back against you? You're just like,
I just want to restrain him until I can hear from Nervik who this guy is and what he wants done with him.
all right, I think that would require a roll. No difficulty. This time you're fighting for sure. So it's still a 3d10.
All right. I got a 5.
Ooh, 5 is oh dear. 5 is another failure. I think what's gonna happen is I think I didn't describe his clothing. We say he's got like what looks like it looks like a fishing vest, and that's all he kind of has on his shirt. He's fairly well built, but you can tell he's kind of like getting old, and he's got like just like nice sort of nice sort of pants, nice world building, Leandro. And I think what's gonna happen is you've tackled him, and like you're getting around. You're probably telling him to halt, but I think one hand of his is like underneath there. Other hand is like trying to hit you with the but you got him squeezed. But I think something like burning singes against your body, and I think you're gonna have to let go of that because it's like white poker hot. You left the poker in the fireplace sort of hot, and you let go, and you're gonna take blood stress. Only a D6. Being nice with all these D6s. Like no one's got a D8 yet.
Got a 2.
Hey, and your blood's really good. So you're fine for now. But I think it's enough that the sudden heat is gonna make you let go. And I think what's gonna happen is, you're gonna like fall back as he kind of stands up, and you see like on his left he's got like this weird sort of like brick sort of device that's kind of like really glowing white hot. It's almost like, what if a taser but magic? That's kind of what he has, and he's pointing a gun at the two of you, and he says like, "More accomplices, I see. No. You're not part of the church. If not, they would send another gun toter like him." And he points a pistol at you, and he points back at you, Jaws. Like you're part of his schemes. You're part of Vetch's schemes, aren't you?
I stab him.
Okay. There's a difficulty of 1 now because he's got a gun pointed at you. So what difficulty does is it takes away a D10. So normally you have 3 because you have 1 for luck, 1 for fight, and 1 for low society. But difficulty 1 takes away 1 of those, so you roll 2 D10.
5.
Yeah, you brought a sword and he's got a gun. He shoots you. Like that's it. He shoots you. I don't know what else it could be. Let me look up this gun stats. And Irvik, what are you doing as oh, okay. All right. This is a beautifully maintained pistol. This is going to be a D8 stress to your blood. Roll a D8.
All right.
Oh, you do have armor, though.
Yes. I got a 4.
Okay. You also have a pistol. Why didn't you? Okay. So you have armor 3. So your armor negates 3 of those. So you only take 1 blood stress, and your blood stress still really good. Yachi. Okay. Wow. Okay. All right. So shoots you. It does smash against your armor, but you're hella tough. So you just kind of like, and I think that's his cue to like that was a warning shot. Don't come find me, you and you as well. And points the gun at you, Nervik. All right, Nervik, I'll give you 1 chance to like talk to him before he tries to scarper. I think the reason why you just can't, if you're gonna try and stab him again, Jaws, that's gonna be difficulty of 2 now because he has a gun pointed at your head. But Nervik, you've got a chance here before he scarpers because he rolled enough failures.
Well, I'm not sure if we can roll good enough today, but I'm going to use one of my core abilities, Notes for Trouble. Once per scene, ask the GM what's weird or out of place here. So as they are, sword slashing, tackling to the ground, after we see Nirvik come to his senses and the sound of a gunshot just next to his head just like vanishes, and he's able to like observe, just like looks, what's weird in this situation here over here, or out of place.
Give me a sec. I'm being asked what I want for dinner. Give me 1 minute. Sorry about that. Dinner, whatever. So yeah, you're asking like what's weird or out of place about this. Okay. So let me scroll through my notes. What could be really weird about this? I think what's out of place. Because I think this guy, Gasto, I think you do. I think there's a bit of you that kind of like maybe dimly remembers that he used to be part of the church. You'll get that. But actually, do you mind if I ask again exactly like what Nirvik was doing? Because I was being distracted by, hey, you want some fried chicken for dinner or something? Sorry about that.
Yeah, after we have seen like the gunshot just next to his head, he probably had this like a weird effect that we see in games where you are flashbanged, like the incredible noise in your ears, and just as he like comes out of it, we see the yells like tackling him, sword fighting, shots being fired, but like Nivik just like sits on the ground and just like observes like what is weird about the situation or this guy. So that was his observation. But
Okay.
what to do over here?
Okay, so here's what you see, because you're very keen. You've got investigator eyes. You see kind of like past him, past Gasto. You look at like there's just the dim of just the din and the cacophony of Ironshrike. But you see a figure standing still, just watching this event unfolding. They're wearing like what could be like a nice sort of waistcoat suit for like, and it looks like it's cut for Alfir. It's like there's a big like brocade and whatnot, but they're clearly like drow. They've got like white hair, but the main thing you notice is that their eyes, well, they've got coins for eyes, like silver coins, and this person's head is like moving as Gasto is pointing the gun around, almost like they're being directed. I think that's what you see. And Gasto's like again says one last thing like, "You're a plot of wretches. You're part of the church. Don't try to follow me. I'm trying to live a good life." And he waves also the magic taser, and he's going to Scarper because again you've all rolled a lot of failures. I'll give you one last chance, Nirvik, or if anyone wants to take one last chance.
But he's going to Scarper. You mean he's going to like just like leave us, go away?
Yes, he's going to run. He's a bit discombobulated by all this.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. I think we see Nirvik just like looking at him, standing up, like brushing all the dust, and says, "Well, just stay out of our business, and we can leave peacefully, not just next to each other. And now, you can leave."
There's a moment of like, huh? And then the music like, yeah, I'm leaving. I better not see you around. And yeah, he's going to run.
Yeah, because like we see, but we already see like Nirvik like doesn't even follow Gasto. He just like looks. What will this person that was observing the situation do? Are they going to vanish? Are they going to stay there? Like, does it look like this person sort of like controls Gusto? Like are they moving like in the same manner as Gusto, living like this, trying to like get like what's happening over there with this guy?
Oh, here's the spooky thing that happens. Gastro turns to leave, and he almost kind of like runs towards like the figure, and then he runs towards the left. But it's almost like a screen wipe. When he runs to the left, the figure's gone.
Okay. That went well, yes. I'm kind of afraid that in this neighborhood we are very easily recognized. You and I, we don't fit over here very well. So instead of scouting around the dark alleys, why don't we go and try to find someone to talk to, and maybe they will share with us some good information.
Sounds good.
I think my friend Tigir should probably have a stand somewhere around here. Let's go and find him. He must have some useful information. Oh, and thanks for coming to my rescue. This guy was like really hard to talk to.
Josh just nods. I love this pairing. All right, let's go away from you two, and I think we'll probably I'll try to wrap up early-ish before like time, so we'll have one more scene, and then we'll do your brief and whatnot. So, what's the last thing? So we've got Gumshoe Duo and Blood Duo. Sorry, that's the official names now. So Blood Duo. Feel free to veto that. Don't just go with what I'm saying. So Blood Duo, what are you up to now? Or come up with a better name. Blue.
But I think we need to get some Elfier masks.
That's interesting. To talk to this, what I have to look up that name again. The
Melisse.
Melisse is the person you just talked to, the Physiker.
Okay, that's right.
They told you to talk to a Gutterkin merchant named Milgrist.
That's right. Okay. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Eventually, we'll need Elfier masks.
Keep an eye out if we see any mask stalls. But maybe do you want to talk to this Gutterkin?
Yeah.
That's our next step. Okay.
Definitely. I think on the way, because we've heard this whole... I don't know. I guess we've heard something of Jaws and Nirvik, right? Like a little bit of what Jaws has been saying.
Yeah, have you?
But has Jaws said anything? No.
That's true, actually.
I think the most she said is no problem.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah, maybe we don't have any clue at all. That's
maybe it's
good.
no problem to you. I don't know what you think. Just another day.
Just another day. Well, Varda, I'm sure things are good. I'll just narrate over it, and so Jaws can hear me being unconcerned. But I'm sure the search for Jaws and Nirvik has been going well. Haven't heard a single thing.
I'll update them on what happened.
So you'll hear of Nirvik. I think maybe Nirvik in the background is like interjecting, like make it more flowery, while Jaws is being like very straightforward.
It's pretty good.
Rando with a gun.
Well, hopefully, do you tell us about the weird? Does like Nirvik tell you to tell us about the figure with the coins for the eyes?
Yeah, I'll relay that part. And do either of you, have you ever heard of that sort of thing?
I'm just saying, I don't think so.
No.
Sounds like a good lead, Jaws.
Look for a vanishing person.
Not an easy lead, but a good one.
Yeah.
Coins for eyes. How many people have coins for eyes?
Oh, right.
Exactly.
You're not just a vanishing person. Anyone can vanish in Spire. Well,
Right.
it's probably not a good thing.
That's it for me, at least, for this scene. I'm ready for Milgrist.
Yeah, and out of character, is there any other ideas what we're trying to do?
Oh yeah,
I mean, I'm happy to see what sort of experimental things we might get a hold of, and I like the idea of trying to give stuff to the Gutterkin, maybe, or I don't know, just disrupt the balance of things.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't even have any opinions necessarily about the Gutterkin, except for maybe like you're also being subjugated in some way. I think I'm gonna angle definitely for like info about the cult. So while we're getting stuff about the goods and who the supplier is, I might just straight up ask,
Sounds good.
Okay, so like Melise said, finding Milgrist, a lot of M names, won't be like the hardest thing, because I think if you just ask enough people, like, oh, Milgrist, yes, they're that seagull mole person, just over there. They've been around for a while, and I think you'll pass by. There's a lot of stuff. I think there's also one thing. You pass by an alley, and you can see just like there's a crowd of people trying to give trying to make a pathway, because there's a rare sight in this. There's an Alfir woman walking around in an alleyway. You just pass by that. I think they've got like some elaborate, like a black golden dress and a rather like weird it looks like a mask made out of shards, but just pass by. I might have read the description wrong about Milgrist. People are speculating in the chat. Yeah, and I think you'll find there is like this. I think you go into like a just more war wards and whatnot, and you get directed to Milgrist's shop, and it's like there's a curtain over like a hole in the wall, and it just says Milgrist's. They're not fancy.
After you.
Like shove aside this like fabric. Excuse me, we're looking for Milgrist.
Snoring, you can hear the background, and I think when you go in, you see it's a dark room, but there's a lot of like trinkets and curios just around here. There's a real pawn shop sort of vibe to this place. There's like I don't know. You tell me. You walk in this pawn shop. What would you find in a Gutterkin curio shop?
I think there's bones, but it's bones of unrecognizable creatures.
Nice. What about you, Varda? What do you see?
Yeah, I was thinking similar thing. Maybe almost like dried out sea urchins, and like the shells of things that are, maybe it's a plant, maybe it's an animal. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's next to like a jar of corvid jerky. So that's kind of like that's the breadth of what you find in that place. Like there's lots of really interesting, cool stuff, and there's just some crap. Like there's a commonplace book. You leap through it. It's like, oh, here's the accounting of this guy's funeral. Yay! There's some broken like monocles and whatnot. As you kind of go deeper into this secure place, and you see there's a couch in the back, and sleeping there is a Gutterkin. I'm just gonna read a description from this. They appear as something a bit like a seagull wearing a mole, the way a hermit crab wears a shell. I don't know what that means. So
I don't want to dwell on that.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, well, they're sleeping. They're clutching a leather-bound book as they're sleeping.
Varda, we should take this chance to see what we can find without Milgrist's interference.
Actually, I think it's a perfect moment to use my other ability. Use the sorry, scroll down for a second. The web of the mistress, so I can. I'm thinking put a hand on your shoulder and kind of just spread my senses out, and I can just perceive what's going on in this region, like the size of a building, maybe. Just anything else that we might not have noticed coming in.
Cool. All right, so you're gonna roll fix plus occult for that. So plus your extra die. That's 3d10. So difficulty. There's nothing happening here. It's just a sleeping gutterkin. All right. Tell me what you got.
Oh, you got a 10.
Nice. All right. So yeah, you can see like you're very aware of like just the world around you, like just the entire alleyway around you, and here's kind of like the things you'll notice. You notice this place. There are some like little nodes of power in this place, just like little things that are like, some Gutterkin merchant shouldn't be having that. There are like certain bones that seem to like, stink with power, so to speak. There's some weird curios there. And you're aware of what's happening around kind of the alleyway around you. And okay, the 10 is a critical success. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna be aware as well that that Alfear woman you saw that kind of passing by. She's kind of like entering this alleyway as you kind of speak, and it looks like she's taking her time. She's almost like looking at each stall on the way, but she's doing it in such a way that she's going to be popping by here soon. I think you can probably tell Ceres this. So,
oh, for sure. Yeah, I just kind of come back for a second, and there's some. Yeah, I relay that essentially that that Alfie woman we saw is going to be here soon, and there's some little objects of power around here that seem a little more out of place. But whatever we do, we should probably do it soon.
Maybe we don't have time to be quiet then. I'm gonna.
I'll say you will have some time because it was a 10.
Okay.
This upper woman is taking her sweet time.
Okay.
So you say you have some time. Again, it was a 10.
Okay, yeah. Then I think then maybe just without like kind of saying anything, I want to like start looking around like behind the counter or whatever, staying quiet and trying to find like ledgers, basically. Actual like shop ledgers, not funeral ledgers, please.
Maybe if I can tell if I picked up where those little unusual things were coming from, if I can tell what the source was.
Yeah, I think I think in terms of visual positioning, I'll just count that as an assist. I'll let you have that die, Darren. I'm breaking the system. I'm breaking the system.
Do that.
Yeah. So this is a steel society.
Steel, love that. Okay, I will not argue. Let's see.
So you get 4 because you got an assist from.
Oh, that's right. All right. I guess I will make my own color then. I'm just gonna have green. 4d6s.
4d10s.
4d10s. I'm glad I said that out loud because I definitely put them in the d6 spot. All right, submit. Oh, what did I do? Greens? I got an 8. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you do fine. You do fine. Okay. So, all right. So you root around. You're trying to find, the real goods, the ledger, whatnot, and okay. So as much as there's a lot of mystery here, this merchant is on the up and up. They are a merchant. They're not gonna like. Yeah, I know. That's a split. Yeah. And I think. Yeah, you're gonna find the ledgers. They're. It's almost sad how ordinary they are. They're just like, they're just ledgers. They're not kooky in any way. They're not like hidden inside a hollowed out Bible. No, they're just ledgers.
Not even like a hidden panel I had to like tap and slide open.
No. I mean, you've got Varda sees all. So, it's like, yeah. And I think what you'll notice is that there are quite a number of ledgers. And like what you do know of Ironshrike is that it's it's a malleable place. People don't last that long here, but Milgris has like been here for like multiple years, and very few people can say that. And so the main thing you'll notice is the ledgers imply that that they've been here for a long time. Are you looking through them now?
Yeah. If we have time, maybe flipping through them, trying to find like maybe that account that's been out just as that account that's recorded in the ledgers, like in every ledger, that's been around for just as long as the shop. If I'm like picking something out,
Okay. I think I'm not gonna make a roll for this because you got the ledgers. So you see that I need to look up some names. There's an initial that starts popping up like halfway through like the first ledger. Almost like the first ledger, it's a lot of like different names, and then suddenly some of those names just disappear and are just replaced by an initial. LHU. And with hyphens. And the main thing is that who here in this city uses hyphens in their name?
Yep, I got it. Farda, how much time do you think we have?
The Alfair woman is 2 stalls away.
Ooh, yeah, she's 2 stalls away.
I wanna like shake Melgrist awake. And,
okay.
I'm gonna invoke my Night Terror core ability. So as Melgrist shakes awake and sees me like clutching their collar or whatever they have, around whatever their neck may look like.
Whatever, we're not gonna get into it.
Not gonna get into it. They recognize me from when they've tried to interfere in my past. And I think maybe it's something like I do probably a lot of shopping in Ironshrike, actually, trying to find those like special reagents. And maybe Milgrist doesn't want to work with blood witches or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to put him in this place before.
Oh yeah, yeah. Their eyes open and like, what do they see?
I think it's just me like leaning over them real close. Like I think I just shook them awake on the couch. So I think I'm just like leaning in, like staring them in the eye.
Yes. Yeah. Oh god.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Milgrist, who is LHU?
I think they see you and then they like just let out a pretty pathetic and kind of like try to scramble back and kind of like falls out of the couch and probably wants to leave, but I assume Farda is probably positioned herself at the entrance with her forearms.
Yeah, in this case, yeah.
Yeah, it's a trap. So they're now afraid with everything that entails. I think what? Lou? Who's that? I don't know.
LHU. Tell me quickly, Milgrist, or I will pay up on whatever. I will claim my threats that I made in the past.
I think I think they probably will tell you. But give me a sec. Let me just go back to my turn again. They're terrified of you at all. What risk? This is a Gutterkin merchant. What risks is there from them being terrified? Oh no, there are some risks. I think their eyes kind of dart to see like, but you don't know what they're looking for. Like, they could be. You don't know what's in this place. And Varda told you there are loads of the power here, so this is going to be a roll. There's a risk here, for sure. There was going to be a difficulty, but because they're horrifically scared of you, there's not going to be difficulty. But you don't have compel, so
that's fine.
Okay.
Compel in low society.
Yeah.
Okay. All you need is two dice.
All right.
We will select.
This is team good rolls.
And I got an 8.
This is team good rolls. Oh. I think they just prostrate themselves on their knees in front of you. It's like, please, please, we. If I tell you, it ruins the model. It ruins her model. It ruins her projections.
Milgris, you can either die or tell me a name. It's pretty simple.
Left hand unknowing. Hasdrubal, left hand unknowing. she's 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 a she's an entrepreneur. She creates models. She has this entire not like fun models, not like that. And Milgris points to like a model of like I like an action figure of, I don't know, some pulp hero that Nirvik wrote about. Not like that, not a model, it, economic models. And they say it in a way that's just like, it's like black magic. They have this entire place just mapped out. And I've been here because I've been playing along with her models, with what she predicts. You're going to ruin it, aren't you? You're going to ruin it.
I want to just prick just a little bit of blood out of Milgris's arm.
Yeah. No, yeah, they're biting. They got arms and legs.
Okay. Just as a threat, I have nothing to do with the blood, but just as a threat for Blood Witch having a blood. Milgris, don't tell anyone you saw me. Don't tell anyone what you told me. That's it. That's the end of the threat. I have your blood.
Yeah, I think they're just gonna oh, go on, Varda.
It does say once per situation, so if I can, I want to know if there's anything else that Milgris wants to protect. I think I want to apply that leverage a little bit, if we can.
You're such an altruist. I think you can tell, Milgris, the most thing that you've been dealing with a lot of people who don't like family and whatnot. Milgris clearly wants to protect their life above everything else.
I think I want to.
Oh, go on.
Oh, sorry. I just want to sort of then switch roles a little bit and be the good cop in this situation and just say, look, we know you want to protect what you've done. Clearly, you've been doing this a long time, and we respect that. And we do want to look out for the people who are suffering the most here while we enact our own plans. So just help us out, and we'll make sure you're fine.
I think they're crying. The hands over, but I think they soften when you say that. And I think they're kind of just cautiously on their knees, kind of walk towards the Corvid jerky, just grab that almost as a safety sort of, and just pause over it. And I don't think they say anything. I think they're Sirius is cowed over it, but I think as you gotta leave, Milgris kind of shoots you this, you Varda, this plaintive look, as if please don't whatever whatever you're planning, watch out for those who gonna get caught up in it. I don't know how they say that in one look, but that's what they're meaning.
I would like to ask too before we leave what Left Hand Unknowing looks like. I'm just curious if there's any connection between that Alfir that we saw.
Well, the thing is, as you kind of walk out, because I think Milgris kind of shakes her head and it's I think when you ask, they'll say they don't really know. They even knowing her name took a year of work. That's why in the first ledger it was a lot of different names, and suddenly Milgris just started recording LHU because they managed to figure out by themselves. But that's why they only said the initials, because it's a risk just knowing that name. But I think when you're gonna exit out, and here's kind of where we're gonna end. So we're quick cut back. We're gonna have a quick shot of our two heroes in the alley, just recovering, and then the two of you coming out of the alleyway, and you'll see that Alfir lady, the one in the black and gold lace dress, and with what looks like a crushed up mask, and what you also see is that they've got they've got two bodyguards with them, and the two of you kind of just walk out, and you're just in the middle, standing in the way, and one of the bodyguards, like big masked person, just kind of gruffly says that, "You're in the way of mother falling ash on snow and tropic matriarch of the hungry deep. Stand aside." And I think we're gonna end there. And shot, if that folks are okay. Cool. Let's see. Let's do debrief off broadcast, but I want to get on broadcast. Thanks very much, folks. You folks are ridiculous. You folks are amazing. I was like, what a broadcast. Thanks very much for my one thing with players, just for being great, for just, oh my god, everything was so extra in the both ridiculous and in the taciturn sort of way, I guess. Well, we'll talk about that in the debriefs. I'm going to stop this broadcast. But again, I just always have it on. These folks are great. Want to check out Spire, Gauntlet, links down below. Anyone watching, right, in the broadcast. All right.